Sup everybody, welcome to the show. Oh, what a week in FPL. Liverpool lost, João Pedro was MIA, Muniz, Vardiol benched, Isak hooked at half time. Oh mate, and Kunku was the hero for Chelsea. FPL is back. What a terrible week to Wildcard, am I right, Will? We'll go through our teams and let you know how we got on this weekend. We'll go through all of the Game Week 4 matches, and then we'll have a little look ahead to Game Week 5.
And then, match of the AI, another London derby between West Ham and Chelsea. So if you're new around here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates.
Let's do this. She's like, what are you dancing to? I can't hear any music.
Oh dear.
What's up, Will?
Hey man, how's it going? You alright?
Good, mate. Good,
How
mate.
you feeling? We've had a bit of a rocky week, haven't we?
It's so weird. We've both been ill at the same time. We haven't seen each other. We haven't been anywhere near each other. It must be one of those like computer viruses that I've been hearing about.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we're back. Sorry if we sound a little worse for wear. But yeah, we're back. We're recording. It's Tuesday morning, a little bit later than we'd like to record. But trust me, you wouldn't have wanted to see our faces yesterday morning. Jesus Christ. I saw Will's face and I didn't want to see that ever again. It was horrific.
Anyway, right. So...
We're back!
What a week of football.
Oh my lord. Oh my god. What a nightmare. I feel like I've got by the skin of my teeth, man. I've managed to get, I've come away 53 points and yeah, I feel like I've just about got away with it. I'd had some points on the bench day which I wasn't happy about. How was the wild card, mate? How'd you get on?
I mean, look, as you said, it wasn't the best week to do a wild card, but like in hindsight, with looking back at the team I had, and it would have been really bad. It would have been in the low 20s. So
Really?
I think that, with that said, to score, I think what did I get? Like mid 50s, 55. That'll do me. Dodged a bullet as well, but yeah, could have been better. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's good that you came out of it up in theory. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like an amazing. When you lay a wild card, you're like, oh, I want like 100 points. I want this. I'm targeting this game week. I do what I want. It's going to be great. But yeah, I guess if you're 20 points up on what you would have been, and that's
it would have been messy.
Did you manage to get down the pub at all this weekend? Watch any football?
Yeah, Spike and I were down on Saturday, watched the United game, which was obviously not too bad. Well, it was good. It's a good result. It was good. Nice to see Rashford get on the score sheet. Let's just hope it's now just an absolute, he just hits the ground running now and he's just like off another 30-goal season. It'll be fantastic.
Yeah, mate. The ketchup bottle has been opened.
What's that quote? Flowing like a ketchup bottle.
Oh, mate. Just rolled off the tongue in like typical Ten Hag style. Just like, yeah, all right, yeah, fine, great. That's fantastic.
We stick to the plan. We stick to the plan, and so it's literally just the quote after quote, and then out of nowhere, the ketchup bottle, and you're like, sorry. What?
You can just imagine the guy interviewing him, just okay, yeah, sure. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, love that.
Gold.
Yeah, absolute gold.
But yeah, while we're talking about last week, really quick, I just want to check I'm sounding all right. We were talking on the show about how I'd sorted out my mic problems, and then we got into the edit and realized that my mic actually wasn't working at all. So guys, the sound on my mic, apologies last week, it was awful. And it was even worse than we were talking about. It was quite embarrassing actually. Podcasting is hard.
I'm pretty sure mine was turned off as well. That's the ironic thing is I was like, mine didn't sound great either though. So yeah, hopefully we both sounded good. We've done some tests. If we failed this time, then I think we should probably call it a day.
Yeah, just jack it in, mate.
Yeah. So what we got on today then? What should we do?
Yeah, so yeah, we're going to go through the results of last week. We'll go through game week 4. We'll go through game week 4 in a little bit of detail. Go through all the results. Talk about who scored and who did well, who did not so well. Talk about all those absolute jesters who are just trolling us, man. João Pedro. I mean, great for me actually. I was quite excited when I heard that João Pedro was missing out, but there was a few bits of bench jam flying around, particularly from Will. Which
Bench jam. It's
yeah,
good. The real screw up was the Liverpool team. Full stop.
Liverpool, the end.
Liverpool. The end. Screwed
Yeah,
all of us.
they absolutely fucked everyone over, didn't they? I
Yeah.
was getting hate messages from close friends actually,
Not
just blaming me, like fucking Liverpool have completely wrecked my week.
not me. I didn't send you any hate messages, and I had bloody double Liverpool. I was tripled up,
Yeah,
and now I don't know
yeah.
what to do.
I'm surprised I didn't get any hate mail off you. Actually, come to think of it.
No, come on. It's not your fault that your team's shit. So,
What was I going to say? Something else happened. Oh yeah, and then the other big thing about the weekend was the Haaland family grievance that he was going through.
Yeah.
That came through late on Friday night. That suddenly put caution into the wind, and everyone was changed. Well, quite a few people changed up their captain. I didn't, luckily. Neither did you, Will. It was my opinion that look, if he's either plays or he doesn't. It was going to be one or the other. Obviously, very sad, and our thoughts go out to him. But he reacted in a good way. Got 2 goals, and fair play to him. Should have had a hat trick actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was hoping, as we would text each other, didn't we? We were really hoping that a lot of people had moved their captaincy over to like Salah after that news. But I've got to say, not most people, I think, got away with it and stuck with him. All right, let's look at these games. Let's look at these games, shall we? Oh no, hang on. We haven't done any listener questions.
Oh, come on. Listener questions. We've got some fans out there.
We've got a few bits in this week. Uncle Phil's been in touch. He said, is Will related to Man United legend Luke Chadwick?
Oh, yeah, that's bullshit. That's such a shit thing to say.
This is completely legit.
As soon as you started related to, I knew it was coming.
What, Luke Chadwick? Do you get this a lot?
No, I don't, but he's like the ugliest person that's like ever lived in football. He's right up there with like, was it Ian Dury? No, not Ian Dury. Who was that?
There's a photo of him for the YouTube viewers there. Oh no, where's he gone?
That's not even a bad one.
There's something there, mate.
No,
there's something
it's
in
just
it.
It's just because I've got my hair short. It's growing back, and then you'll see. Nothing like him.
He's got the same pretty eyes and the chiseled jawline.
That's not even a bad photo of him. If you I'll bring up one of the ones from back in the day. My goodness, he was an unfortunate looking fella.
Legend.
But yeah, no, thanks, Phil. No, I'm not.
Phil also actually. He was talking about his team as well. You'll like this, Will. After the ripping that he's just given you, he had 13 points on his bench. He had Greaves of Ipswich and Visser on the bench.
I mean,
he said a very naughty word about them, which I'm not going to say.
I hope you weren't going to say it. I read it yesterday. I must.
He was not pleased.
But yeah, strong bench there, Phil.
Yep. So I was going to go into the games, but I think actually let's look at our teams. Let's go through our teams.
Wait, hang on. Haven't we got any more listener questions? Was there no more?
Okay, I'll do some comments. Angus from Clapham. There's obviously something from Big Baz. He always gets in touch, whether we like it or not, unfortunately. Angus from Clapham. Love the show, lads. Cameron from Dunstable. You guys rock. Julie from Essex. All right, boys.
Yes, all right, Julie.
Julie. All right. And then Big Baz. Hello there, William. That's it. Baz. Short and sweet from Big Baz this week.
He never fails. He's doing all right in the mini league, actually.
He's our number one fan. He's doing all right. Well, maybe if he's manager of the month, we can look into his team in a bit more detail. But for now, we're moving on. So, Will, 55 points. Talk us through your team, mate.
Okay, God, it doesn't look great, but yeah, let's go through it. So wildcard week, Brought Raya in back in goal, 9 points. He's doing very, very well. I'm glad. That's one of my saving graces, I must admit. And then I had Lewis, Robertson, and Trent Alexander Arnold, and they all scored 1 point each. There was some yellow cards flying around, and Lewis got hooked at half time. And then the midfield's not much better. I've got Anana, 1 point, Eza, 2 points, Minter, 2 points, Mitoma, 3 points, Mohamed Salah, 2 points. And then up front, I have Haaland, captain, 26 points, and Wissa, 7 points.
I
Off
mean, mate,
after.
I'm looking at your team. I'm listening to it. Like, you're like
Yeah.
1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point. How the fuck did I lose to you this week? For fuck's
I,
sake. I mean, 4 1-pointers and I can't beat that. That's ridiculous.
It is, mate, what's that week? Like, I'm above average only by like 4 points, but it was a horrid week for so many. But if you had Sanchez in goal, the people that have done well, 15 points from him for Chelsea. Like if you had there's like Smith Rowe was not a really good differential this week, not by a lot. But if you had more than 4 points, you've made a
Yeah.
big difference this week. So
So true.
but not the best wild card. Well, it's hard to know. Is it a good wild card because it would have been 20 points low, or have I just sort of like it's a bit of a weak wild card? Let's see how it pans out this season, but
Okay,
not
right.
ideal.
Let's test how good a wild card it is. Is how many changes are you would you like to make going into next week?
So I've already made one.
Bad wild card.
I've
Bad wild card.
no,
I'm
I've
joking.
only
I'm
yeah.
joking.
It wasn't it. I told you, didn't I, Tom, that I had a plan. I was like, my plan was to roll 2 weeks straight, and then that would get me into game week 6, where I'd bring some more Arsenal players in. I kind of had an idea of a few different transfers, just the two, and that was all I wanted to do. And then now it's changed instantly by the fact that Wissa is now is now out for a couple of months. So I've instantly brought in Calvin Lewin because he's got some great fixtures coming up.
Calvert-Lewin, mate. We talked about him briefly last week, saying
We
that he was
did,
on my radar for my game week 6
yeah.
wild card. Like, mate, he should have hauled big time at the weekend, shouldn't he, old Calvert-Lewin?
I mean, again, Everton. They look really good. They're playing really well, exactly as we said last week.
Yeah.
It's just they need Braithwaite to come back. They need Mythalenko to come back, and then hopefully they start playing a little bit better in defence. But at the moment, they are just leaky. But Calvin
Yeah.
Lewin looks fantastic, so he's really
Yeah, I
sharp.
mean, yeah, he obviously got on the score sheet, and I mean, he could have had 3. There was that one which even Dyche said in the post match interview, it was kind of the turning point in the game where he
Yeah,
was 1-on-1, and mate, I don't know what he was waiting for. Like, he was so clear on goal. I think he was just lacking a bit of confidence. He's got to finish it. I don't know what he's done. He's turned in on his left, and
yeah,
then the defender's just come in, taking the ball, said thanks very much. And I wondered if he was actually expecting the flag to go up because it was a tight call, but he was onside. I think maybe it got in his head, but mate, he should have done better there. And then he hit the bar late on as well, so he could have been on
yeah,
for a hat trick
yeah,
on another day. But yes, positive signs, and mate, I think it's a good transfer bringing him in because they got some great fixtures coming up, haven't they? If they
they've
keep attacking like this, then
yeah,
he's great. Let's quickly run through my team. So I got
yeah.
53 points. So I've lost 2 points to you this week. I had Raya for 9 points, Trent 1 point, Robinson 2 points. Dean, I bought Luca Dean in for Lewis Hall this week. That turned out to be a good transfer. He got me an assist, 4 points. Diogo Jota, 1 point. Rogers, another 2 points, man. That guy's turning into a little bit of a points dodger now.
Mm-hmm.
Minte, 2 points. Cole Palmer, 3 points. Isak, 1 point. Haaland 26, my captain Haaland, and Solanke 2 points. Solanke was definitely, it's left a bit of taste in my mouth, if I'm honest with you. Right at the death. Do you remember we talked about it last week? You were like, if you get some team news, would you let Solanke into your team? And I was like, no, I probably won't. I heard that he was gonna start, and he'd been all cleared to play, I brought him in instead of Smith Rowe.
It's
And
brutal.
yeah, that hurts a little bit. Could have really done with that extra 5 points this week. That'd have been really nice. So yeah, Smith Rowe on the bench, 7 points. Pedro Porro, 2 points, and Bednarek, 1 point, 53 points. Moving on, we go again. It's fine. It's fine. It's not great, but it could be worse. It was essentially a grey arrow for me this week.
Yeah. Can I ask you a couple of things about your team?
Go
Because
on.
it's more to do not your team. It's a lot of people out there probably asking the same questions. I mean, you mentioned it. Rogers is hurting. Diego Jota is hurting.
Yeah.
Palmer. I know Palmer's done well, but he's not playing that same role as he played last season. And now we're looking at Isaac and Solanke. I mean, you're wildcard territory. I bet you can't wait for game week 6.
Well, this is exactly the answer I was going to give you, and it is just wildcard.
Yeah.
But my plan is not this week. These guys have still got good fixtures. It's still on
Yeah.
paper a good team for this
Yeah.
week, and I'm looking at rolling. But
Good.
then they're all going. Yeah, exactly
Yeah,
that. Man.
yeah.
They're
I'm
all
looking at rolling, and then they are
going.
gone.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to chopping out these players. Like you said, I'd love to. I even looked at the possibility of doing it this week because it's like after the game week completed and it was underwhelming to say the least. I was like, I wonder if I could wild card this week. That would be really fantastic, and I don't have to look at these players anymore. But yeah, it's just not the week because mate, next week we're going to want Arsenal players in. I don't want to bring
Yeah.
them in for them to face City this week. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
and there's a few fixture swings like that. Palmer's still got a good fixture this week, and Rogers
Yeah.
still got a good fixture. But yeah, I'm looking at a relatively big overhaul next week when it does come to the wild card. All right, let's talk through game week 4, shall we? So Saints versus Man United, the old lunchtime kickoff. Saints 0, Man United 3. This, I'll tell you what, mate, could have gone a different way, this game. Southampton started very well. They were all over you for the first like 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And then they won the penalty.
And
I'll
that
tell
was
you what,
it.
mate. Dibley. Did you see Dibley who won the penalty?
Dibbers. Big Dibbers. Yeah.
Dibbers. 4.5 million midfielder. Southampton actually looks really tasty. Definitely one to keep an eye on. Our Dibbers. Tyler Dibbling, I believe is his full name. But yeah, he played really well. He had a nice little tasty shot, got well saved by Onana, and then he won the penalty.
Big
Cameron
pen.
Archer,
Oh,
a massive turning point. It was a poor pen. I tell you what, mate. You watched it live. How long did he have to wait to take that penalty? I
it
felt
was
for him, man.
It was a long time. I was thinking like even being at home, but it's Man United at home. You've had a hard start to the season. The pressure for that young man would just be immense, and
Yeah.
it was a bad pen. It was a bad pen. Onana, did well obviously, but
yeah,
that was a
yeah,
turning
it's a
point.
shame. Yeah,
That
it
was a
was
big
because I
turning point.
mean, they had Brereton Diaz. I mean, a lot of people were expecting him to take the penalty, but Archer took it. I think they probably just wanted to get him off the mark because he is going to be their main striker this season. They just want a little confidence booster. That didn't turn out so well. He's probably just confident. He's probably got his tail between his legs now. And
I know.
yeah, it was the turning point in the game. It was a big save. It got the players up for it, and then suddenly, within like 20 minutes after that, they were 2-0 down, weren't they? Delict was like, he was really attacking, man. Like he was getting in the box when it wasn't even set pieces. He was just getting up there playing centre forward.
There was 3 or 4 chances where I was like, "Who is that?" And Spike was like, "That's Delict." I was like, "What is he doing up there?"
Yeah, there was a couple of times. I'm like, he's there again. What's he up to? I think in a couple of games your fixtures turn and you've got a nice little run. It's definitely worth getting on the radar. He's just a little bit expensive. He's at 5 million.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, he's maybe out of budget really in terms of what you want from a £5 million defender. But yeah, this one to keep an eye on.
If the attacking threat's there consistently, then that's fine. Who cares about clean sheets? Clean sheets seem to be a bit of a tricky one at the moment. And if we manage to start locking it down a little bit better, then great. But yeah, got a goal, but barely anyone must own him.
But Saints, man, it's not looking good for them. They're suddenly a team to target. Whatever team comes up against them, they are terrible defensively. Like, it was so bad. 2 of your goals, you just had one of the defenders didn't get the memo about pushing up, and they're just playing everyone on side. Happened twice. Happened for Delict, and happened for someone else. Can't remember.
Bruno had another one where he managed to
Yeah,
get
maybe it
through,
wasn't 2
and
goals, but it happened twice, and I was just like, "What the hell are you playing at?"
yeah,
Like, they're just miles out of line with each other.
which is perfect for us because we can't seem to stay on side.
Yeah,
So
that's a game where Marcus Rashford suddenly comes into his own. Is where one of the defenders isn't in line with the rest of them, and is playing everyone on side. Rashford suddenly looks like a world beater.
I think that
This
is
game's really easy.
a huge point, actually, TK.
And they've had Jack Stevens, their captain, got sent off for a terrible challenge on Garnacho. So they're poor defensively, and arguably one of their better defenders, their captain, is out for the next 3 games. So I mean,
Yeah,
target Southampton, everybody's much as I hate to say it.
yeah.
Brighton 0, Ipswich 0. Slightly surprising result. A lot of people would have thought Brighton were going to cruise this game a little bit, being at home. But I don't know. Maybe João Pedro had an effect on them. The lack of João Pedro, they couldn't break Ipswich down.
It was a tricky game. Ipswich didn't play badly. Brighton didn't play badly. There was a lot of chances in that game, both sides. But Brighton should have. They've got such great attacking threat. Like they really should have done better, in my opinion.
Mate, I was looking at the Brighton team. So their starting lineup, right? Up top, they're 4 attackers. They had Minte. They brought Rutter in, Rutter,
Yeah.
Matoma, and then Danny Welbeck. But mate, the players that they're bringing on, they brought on the likes of Enciso, Adingra, Evan Ferguson. Like, they've got so many attacking options. But yeah, they just couldn't find that breakthrough in this game.
Ipswich just looked. I think they look better than we look at them as a bit of like new whipping boys or whatever from like coming up. But they've got a team together and they're not doing badly. They've just had really tricky fixtures for the first few weeks of the season, and I think they're harder to break down. Like if you want to talk about whipping boys, as you just said, Southampton are the teams, and if you want to score a lot of goals, Everton. But Ipswich seem like they're doing all right. So
Yeah. No, agreed.
two
Okay, so Palace 2, Leicester 2.
Oh,
This is an interesting game, actually. Overriding feeling coming out of this is that I want Jamie Vardy in my team, actually.
he's doing that thing again, isn't he? He's just having a party.
He just doesn't look 37. Like, he looks kind of like the player that we know and love from like 6 years ago or whatever.
Oh, God.
Like, he still looks great, and he's still got a burst of pace.
Who did he skin for pace for his goal?
I want to single that person out.
Yeah, no.
Who did Jamie Vardy just skin?
No, but he's 20 years as senior or whatever. Like, well, not that much, but like 10 years older than him. And he
was it?
ran him.
I'll tell you what, mate. It was probably. I think it was their new centre back. Was it LaRue?
It was Gahey that got skinned. He's
not going to be happy with that, is he, Mark Gahey?
But he really does get done over as well, which is incredible from Vardy. Like, he is.
It's some neat footwork as well, because he's going full tilt. He's got Gahey incoming at full speed. He's got the goalie coming out full speed. He's slightly off balance, and he's just knocks it a little touch to the right with the left peg, and then slots it in. Like, that is Jamie Vardy at his best. That's what we've seen him do time and time again. And mate, if he's getting 90 minutes, which he has done the last 2 games, then suddenly, Leicester got a really nice fixtures coming up. I think they've got a tricky fixture. I think it's Arsenal coming up, but then after that, they've got a nice little run. I think I might get him in over Calvert-Lewin, just because I'm going to enjoy having him in more than Calvert-Lewin. Like, when Jamie Vardy scores, it makes you feel good, right? Like, and that's what it's all about. Calvert-Lewin, he's He's an Everton player who's going to frustrate you more often than not, I imagine. Although he's got a nice little run and he's definitely a good asset to consider. I think I'm just going to have more fun with Vardy in my team. So
And do you know what? That's such an important point. Like this has been flying around quite a lot this week on social media. Is really important to make sure that you have fun whilst playing
yeah,
FPL because it's a game. Don't take it too seriously. Try not to think about it all week and have dreams about it like I do, which is really annoying. um, and that's the way to play it. And you're absolutely right. Calvin Lewin is not going to super frustrate me, I reckon. And
yeah.
Jamie Vardy is going to have a party with you all the way to the goal bank.
This is it, mate. And quite topical as well because Leicester actually play against Everton this weekend as
Yes,
well.
it's going to be
So
good.
that I'm kind of waiting for some Isak news because he went off with blurred vision. I might even bring Vardy in this week. I've already missed a price rise on Vardy, I think, so I'm not in
Yeah,
any rush to get him in, but he could be in for the weekend. I might bring him in for Everton instead
do
of
it.
Isak, who's going out anyway on my wild card. I could just bring
Yeah,
that forward a week. Palace, Mateta got 2 goals, and there's been a little bit of attention on the penalty because obviously a lot of people were expecting Eze to be on penalties, but Glasner came out after the game and said that his penalty takers are Mateta and Eze. He's going to leave it up to them to decide on the day. So that's very interesting. It suddenly brings Mateta back into the spotlight. Maybe takes a bit of the sheen off of owning Eze if he's not a slam dunk, cut and dry penalty taker for Palace.
totally agree. Like, if I'd have known that, I probably wouldn't have brought him back in on the wild card because we thought it was on pens. But yeah, tricky.
Yep. Fulham won. West Ham won. So yeah, annoying. Just Smith Rowe, obviously on the bench for me. It's a shame. I should have kept him in, but I mean,
Mm,
hindsight's a bitch, right?
yeah,
Fulham had their clean sheet wiped out quite late on as well, which was a shame for Robinson owners like myself. Um, Late Danny Ings goal. Muniz got benched. This kind of I was quite happy about this. I know a lot of people have still got Muniz kicking about. Do you remember, Will? We spoke a couple of weeks ago about Muniz because Fulham
hmm
had this nice little run of fixtures, and I was saying, look, if he doesn't score, he's still gonna be a tricky one to get rid of because you're gonna look at the fixtures and go, oh, I'll keep him for one more week. Um, but he's still not scored. He's now been dropped for Jimenez, who's come in and scored. Jimenez rocking the cornrows, by the way, mate. When I saw those for the first time, I thought he'd like upgraded because he's got to wear his headband. I thought he'd like upgraded his headband to like some weird novelty one that comes with like a cool haircut. I was like,
Good
it
to
didn't
hear
look
that.
real. I was like, what's that? It doesn't look. It looks odd, but
I
he's
like it.
kind of rocking it. Yeah,
I had cornrows once.
mate, I could totally see you with cornrows as it happened.
Yeah,
Bring it back, mate.
it
Bring
was a
it
big
back for the
week.
pod.
My goodness, I was
Maybe that's what one of our forfeits should be. Will's got to grow back his cornrows if he
absolutely
loses
not,
to.
mate. Good luck. Good luck with this receding hairline.
Yeah, so Jimenez back on score sheet, and after scoring, you kind of fancy him to keep his place in the team. So that's one
I
to
think
keep an
so.
eye on. Muniz he's got to be a sell, right? I think if you're
Absolutely.
still hanging on to him, West Ham, they're kind of rough. They've been through a rough run. They've obviously not had the easiest of fixtures, but it's 4 points from 4 now, and I think who was I was listening to? I can't remember, but they were saying, look, if Moyes was still in charge and it's 4 points from 4, they'd be calling for his head, mate. They'd be
They would.
so pissed off. I think it was always going to be one of those careful what you wish for scenarios with Moyes, but it's still early to say that.
Yeah.
They're gonna once their fixtures get a bit easier, then maybe we can hold judgment until then. But
Mm.
come on then. Liverpool 0, Forest 1. I haven't got loads to say about this game, to be honest with you, because it's not like we played particularly badly. We weren't. Our attacking threat wasn't our best. We were struggling to create stuff, but Forest was so well drilled and well organised. They were hard to break down. It was really tough. And the thing is, it's not like it was a fluke. We know that that's what Nuno teams do. They stifle
Mhm.
opponents and make it difficult, and they did that. They did a number on us, and fair play to them. It was a great result, great goal from Hudson-Odoi. Really good finish. Allison nowhere near it. He was like rooted pretty much. He thought it was going wide. Um, Great finish. Just frustrating. It was just a frustrating day at the office for Liverpool. Really. That's all I've got to say about it. That's it.
To be honest, I'm not going to pepper you about it because there isn't much to say about it. That was just great from Forest, not fantastic from Liverpool. But I mean, again, not enough games to show just yet. But Forest are looking like a tricky team. If you think you can go in there and it's on the FPL website, it's the green difficult rating. It's not true. I would put them in grey. They will. I reckon if they continue to play like that at Anfield as well, then they will upset a few teams, I think, out there. So yeah, well done, Forest.
Yep. Fuckers. City 2, Brentford 1.
This was an interesting game. I thought Brentford looked great. I
Yeah.
thought Brentford. I know that the Worcester goal was early; it was a bit of a shock for everyone, but it finished it well. Such a shame that he went off at half time. That
Goal after 26 seconds.
Yeah, it was so quick. But then I couldn't believe it. I was like, nah, that's got to be a mistake. But it was just one of those where they didn't got an early chance and they put them away. That's what Brentford do. But as Pep said, they were so well drilled, and like the first half of that game, Man City just really struggled to break them down. They're running between the lines, and they were just. Brentford are a great team.
Yep.
But then City punished them still. Haaland could have got way more again, and well played to him. You could obviously see he was playing with a little bit of he lost his smile. That thing that we talked about last week, where you were like, he plays with a smile on his face, he's enjoying his football. He was just getting that job done last week, and top tip my hat to him. That's a tough one. So yeah, as you said earlier, like shout out to him and his family. But yeah, well played. 2 goals, good returns.
Yep. Vardy was benched as
Yes.
well, which was a bit of a talking point. Lewis went over to the left and Kyle Walker came in. That's going to be something to keep an eye on. Champions League coming
Tonight.
up as well, so
Tonight,
we'll
tomorrow.
see. I think Liverpool are playing AC Milan tonight, being Tuesday. I think City are tomorrow. Yeah, they're playing Inter tomorrow. So yeah, it's a hard one to call now. We don't know who's going to drop out next week. Whether Vardy, I guess you keep an eye on what the team's going to be for Inter,
Mm.
and you would think whoever misses out in midweek has got a good chance of starting at the weekend. But mate, who's going to second guess Pep? Do you know what I mean? That would be a fool's errand. Why would you do that? For me, it's just a kind of a void, to be honest. I know a lot of people would have bought in Lewis like yourself on Wildcard,
Hmm.
but this was always going to happen at some stage where we're trying to guess who's going to start. The good thing is Vardy came on and he was like very attacking straight away. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just risky for me. All of them are risky. All of them are a void as far as I'm concerned. Villa 3, Everton 2. Lightning does strike twice, as it happens. It wasn't quite as bad as the Bournemouth game,
No,
but
no,
it
no.
still hurts. Still hurts. Another good performance from Everton, and they just got ground down by Villa. Villa just kept peppering, kept grinding, and got their returns. What a winner from John Duran,
We've got
my lord!
well. There's 2 people we need to really talk about in this game. Like in my opinion, John Duran is a machine. That goal was wildly good, an absolute screamer, and he
Did you
scored. He's
see the
got
post?
return.
Did you see the post from Aston Villa after the game? They were
Which
like,
one?
they were like, the contenders for goal of the month this month are John Duran, John Duran, John Duran, John Duran.
he I mean, Watkins, well done, Watkins. Like he should have scored a hat trick, and got some returns finally, and looks a little bit sharper. Whatever's maybe Jaw's just carrying that injury, but John Duran just comes on and slots them every single game.
I feel
I
like
love him.
we're saying the same things every week.
Yeah, right.
Like Watkins comes on, does well, either scores or he doesn't score. But then Duran comes on, and looks great, scores a whammo, and
Again.
suddenly we're like, I can't figure out this guy. Should I be getting him in? He's not going to start, but every time he comes on, he scores.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
you kind of, mate, if Watkins got injured, my God, we would be straight in there for John
We're
Duran,
in.
because
Yeah.
he'd be an asset, mate. He'd be a
Yeah.
great asset to have.
But the other person, the other person we have to talk about is McNeil. He is
Yeah,
playing really, really, really well. Like, he was a standout performance, obviously got a goal and then picked up the assist as well for Calvin Lewin. And I was just like, I've been sleeping on him, because I think we all have, because he's like barely owned at all, but he's looking really, really good. He's all over the place. And I know Everton. I know they're not exactly the team players that you want in your team, but they're scoring points. So
yeah. He he's involved in everything they do, and like I said, they have been looking really good attacking wise. But
yeah,
he's chipping in with goals, he's chipping in with assists, he's involved in everything. He's kind of the talisman.
yeah,
Everything good that happens for them has run through him. So yeah, I mean, he's definitely an option. He's definitely an
yeah.
option. How much is he? How much is he in FPL? I don't
Just
even know.
looking
I
right
would
now.
never dare to even look at him.
I know McNeil is 5.4. He's just gone up. No, he went down and then I think he went back up.
Yeah,
Um,
it's an interesting little asset. Obviously, we were talking about Calvert Lewin earlier. Like, if I was to go Vardy over Calvert Lewin, maybe there'd be a little space for McNeil in
oh,
midfield. Game week 5 to game week
mad.
14.
It's
It's
mad.
pretty solid. Leicester,
Apparently,
Palace, Newcastle, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Brentford, Man United, Wolves. There's a couple of testers in there. I mean, they're all testers for Everton. Don't get me
yeah.
wrong. They'll probably lose every single one of them.
Yeah,
But
but they might
there'll be
score
some goals in
16
there. Yeah.
goals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, as we said earlier, Mythalenko is now no flag. He should be back. Like, he played 25 minutes this week, and then they're easing him back in. He's a huge player for them. He did great for me last season, and then
If
obviously
yeah, and Branthwaite as well. If they get both
Bransway.
of them back, then they're in business suddenly, right?
Yeah, Coleman's got an ankle injury. I mean, they do have some injuries, don't they, in defence? And that's where they need their players back.
Yeah.
Who knows? Top of the
Yeah.
league, maybe.
Rogers. Rogers is a little pickle, mate. I tell you. The
Yeah.
thing is, he's every week. Although he's not getting any points, he's still playing well, and he had another great chance to score at the weekend. He should have
Hmm.
scored. So yeah, they've got Wolves at home this week. He's still in my team, and then it's Ipswich away. Another couple of good fixtures there.
Yeah.
I've got him until game week 6. He's probably going to come out for me in my wild card. Maybe for McNeil. We'll see. We'll see. But
Who's next? Bournemouth, Chelsea. Oh god, that was a boring game.
this was a frustrating game. I was really hoping, because this was obviously the 8 o'clock kickoff on Saturday, and after what had happened on Saturday, I was really hoping that Cole Palmer was
Oh
going to be
yeah,
my saviour. I put it on X. I was like,
yeah.
this is what I've spunked 10.5 million on you for. Now is your time to save my game week. Did he? Did
No,
he? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They had to rely on Nkunku coming off the bench, and obviously Sancho came off the bench and looked great. Suddenly playing his best football, causing trouble, assisting goals. Yeah,
he.
more confusion over Chelsea attackers.
Yeah, right. There's too many there. Way, way too many. I, I must admit though, I mean, I didn't watch the actual game, but I watched the highlights. And Sancho is obviously, I had my eye on him when he came on from United and the whole debacle that was. But I was like, did he win? Like, everyone was there going, he should have got man of the match. Did he actually win man of the match
Who?
for it?
Sancho.
Sancho? No. Yeah, he did. He won man of the
Did he?
match. I think so. And
I
obviously
mean, mate, not
Sanchez.
surprised, mate. I mean, it was
No, he
such a
wasn't
boring
that.
game.
Oh, yeah, but he wasn't that good. He thought it looks like. I just think he's so overhyped. He can't play in the Premier League. I will see, and I'll eat my words, but I don't think he's all that. He was great in the Bundesliga, sure, but he's never done it properly in the Prem. And
There we have a bitter Man United fan, everybody. There he is.
That is so true. That is so fucking true, mate. He can do one. I don't like his attitude at all. And God, have him. Absolutely have him. Good luck to the kid. But
I
I thought so.
fancy him to be. I reckon he's going to be one of those players where he's going to be on fire. He'll get a deal at a big club next year, and then he'll take his foot off the gas and
Just
wait till the next deal. That's
he's that
probably
guy,
been
man.
very harsh, but he looked tasty. He came on with a point to prove, and
He
he looked very good. He did
he
look very good.
he did.
Moving swiftly on, Spurs 0, Arsenal 1.
Huge.
Um,
Spurs can't
Spurs,
defend. Spurs can't defend a corner.
I really can't. Did you see the match of the day analysis from Theo Walcott?
Yeah.
You did. It was
Oh
because he
yeah.
just he highlighted that this is how Arsenal got their goals last season from corners, where Spurs literally can't defend Arsenal's corners. Arsenal just they take all their players to the back post, and so all the players in markings only in front of the goal aren't marking anyone until the last moment. Then when all the Arsenal players run in, they've got their backs to the players, so they don't even see them coming in. They're watching the ball come in. Suddenly there's Arsenal players all over him, and Gabriel's got a free header. They're just that's what they did before, and they did it again. It just looked like it was just simple. It was just
Well,
really simple. I mean, it's genius, absolute genius, but
it's
from a Spurs point of view, you've got to see that coming.
I mean, what was really funny was the fact of I don't know if you saw the clip of there was Spurs fans with their back turned like it was a penalty because they couldn't watch. They couldn't watch what was about to happen.
Spurs actually started well, and I
Yeah,
had a good feeling about Solanke. Like he looks quite good, Solanke, when he's playing,
yeah.
and he had a couple of chances. They just they just fell away, didn't they? Spurs. Arsenal just grinded them down and did a nice little job on them, didn't they?
I
Didn't
did.
they?
I did indeed. I
Um,
mean,
a
Briar picked
solid
up.
1-0. It was like the Arsenal of the 90s, just a
Yeah,
solid 1-0.
yeah, classic. But
Um,
look, Rye picked up 5 saves though. Like I know they weren't like
yeah,
they weren't like amazing saves. They were just like on target shots, and they
yeah,
weren't
that's
really
it. That's
testing.
exactly it. There wasn't any like majorly great saves. They didn't really
No,
test him enough.
but
But they
Rye,
started off really well. Their possession in the first like 15 minutes was
yeah,
really good, really attacking.
yeah.
They just couldn't make anything of it, and it
But
was a shame.
Raya, I'm happy that. I remember last week I had that decision. I was like Martinez, Raya, and I was like, oh, I'm really happy that he came in, and I forced him in there because I think that's him now. I'm done with keepers for the rest of the season. Like he will just stay as long as he doesn't get
Yeah,
injured or sent off or anything. That's just. I think you're in the
yeah.
same
It's
boat.
just
Like,
one less headache. That was like we talked about at the beginning of the season. That was my thinking.
yeah,
I'm kind of over keeper rotation.
yeah,
Um, After last year, there was no clean sheets. Like you can't be second guessing clean sheets. It's just what will be, and it will be Raya.
yeah.
So there you go.
Because he's picking up way more bonus points than last season because they've changed that system. And Arsenal definitely, well, at the moment, don't look as tight as they were, which is fair. But he's going to keep the easiest way into their defense is him, and he's just going to keep on growing in price now as well, which is the other thing. Just leave him alone, let him do his thing.
Mm.
Great keeper, great keeper.
Great goalie. Another way into Arsenal's defence is also Timber.
Yes,
He
but
played very well. He's a bit of a unit, isn't he, man? He was
mm,
very feisty. Got in a little bit of a scuffle, but I don't know. Calafiori, he wasn't available at the moment. I can't remember. There's something wrong with him. He
mm,
picked up a little injury on international duty. I think I can't remember, but I don't know what's going on there with Calafiori. When he comes back, how he's fitting into that team. They spent a decent chunk on him.
mm,
You would think it's just a matter of time until he slots in somewhere. But at the moment, Timber looks like a nice little cut price option to get on the Arsenal defence because he was 5.5. I believe he still is. I'm just going to double check that. Yeah, 5.5. So yeah, he's worth considering. But yeah, it was frustrating performance from a Spurs point of view. The fans
mm,
weren't happy at the end of the game, and yesterday morning, suddenly, yesterday morning being Monday morning, a lot of the limelight has shifted onto Ange and the fact that he's actually not been performing particularly well. Obviously, they had a really good start to the season last year. They went top of the league after like 10 games or whatever.
Mm.
But since then, very poor results. And I think he's rightfully being put in the spotlight, and he does need to improve. Things need to pick up because he's suddenly not getting performances out of the likes of Son. And they're not beating teams that they should be. Obviously not Arsenal, but just in general, he needs to start getting some points on the board because his record over the last kind of calendar 12 months is not where they need to be. If they're supposedly challenging for European places, they're miles off it.
I mean, it's a shame because I really like him. I think I really like his honesty. Obviously, that would probably change over, but I like his vibe. He's got a good. He's Australian. He's just got good fun. I like his attitude. But their fixtures haven't been like beginning of the season. Okay, Leicester, you expect an away win there still, but first game of the season is always tricky. Everton 4-0, Newcastle away. That's a tricky game. Arsenal at home, right? Really, within 4 games and a 1-0, they didn't do terribly. Arsenal didn't do great. Now we're talking though. They've got Brentford, Manchester United, Brighton, West Ham. If they don't improve, that pressure's just going to keep on mounting, and that's a shame.
That's it.
Doesn't
That's it.
deserve it.
Because yeah, football's fickle, mate. They don't remember the tough fixture runs that you had. They look at the general
Result,
points tally,
yeah.
and unless we see a big improvement from Spurs over this next run, he's going to be in big trouble.
Mm.
Who's next? Who the bloody hell we spoke about? Right, Wolves 1, Newcastle 2. This was a great game. I don't know if you saw it or saw the highlights, but Wolves played really well. They went 1-0 up, and they looked good for it. They were in control quite a long time. Isak obviously got hooked at half time. It
Mm.
was a triple sub from half
Oh
time.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I can't remember who scored the first goal. Actually, let me just
Schlur,
double check.
Fabian Schlur. It was
Oh,
it.
Fabian Schlur.
Oh,
That's a
what's
belter, mate.
what's
Schlur.
his name?
Fabian Shah. There's no L.
Shah. I
Schlur.
thought it was like a
Schlur is Schlur's like the wine drink that you give to kids. It tastes delicious. The grapes.
Oh, that is
The fizzy
delicious.
grape juice. That's the good shit, mate.
He looked really good though, didn't he? He came on and was just like up there and was
Well, yeah,
like,
because he's had a nice rest, hasn't he? He was out for 3
yeah,
games because he got sent off against Southampton for
yeah.
nutting Brereton Diaz.
Oh god, yeah, that
Um,
was so stupid.
yeah,
Diaz
but
is
yeah, he
such
came
a dick.
back and he showed what a good player he is for them. Obviously, it was a nice deflection, but he was
Oh yeah.
he was attacking throughout. He was causing problems throughout for Wolves. Important goal, and then Harvey Barnes scored a beautiful goal, cutting on his right foot, as he's done so many times. We've seen it so many times before. And Gary O'Neill was slightly cheesed off that it was something that we've seen done so many times,
Yeah,
and yet we still let it happen. Put it in
yeah.
the top bins. It was a great goal, great winner. But even at the end, Cunha had a great opportunity to
Oh my god,
equalise.
yeah,
The
that
like the
hook.
scissor kick, the
Yeah, the hook.
fantastic save from Pope.
Yeah.
So very unfortunate for Wolves. They played well. And Strand Larsen looks so good as well. He's looking great, man. That Norwegian striker for Wolves. He was just causing trouble down the right side. He got the assist, didn't he? I think
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for the first goal, well, the only goal as it happens. But he could be a little asset after game week 9 when Wolves come into their good run.
That's true.
Um, he's gets in good positions and causes trouble. He's definitely one to keep an eye on as a little differential, even enabling asset.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Strand like yeah, 5.5 fixtures really sort themselves out after City at game week 8. After
yeah,
that, yeah, then they've got a
yeah, man.
very nice little run till nearly Christmas time. So
Yeah,
that's
that's it. Right. So that concludes game week 4. I'll go through the games. Let's quickly just look at game week 5 and how that's going to affect our teams going forward. So, fixtures this week we've got West Ham v Chelsea, Villa versus Wolves, Fulham versus Newcastle, Leicester versus Everton, Liverpool versus Bournemouth, Southampton versus Ipswich, Spurs versus Brentford, Palace versus Manchester United, and Brighton versus Nottingham Forest, and then finishing with the big one, Manchester City versus Arsenal.
Do you know what? Can I just say, I was so happy after the Premier League was back after the international break. I hate that there's one coming up so soon after, but North London derby last week, City Arsenal this week. What a time! And the fixture that I really, really don't want to watch is Crystal Palace versus Manchester United at the late kickoff on Saturday, because Crystal Palace, I think you're the same, Pickle. Like
Oh,
I
such a bogey team,
hate
mate.
I hate going to Palace. We spoke about it last week. We've spoken about it before. You're basically playing prime Barcelona out of nowhere. It's like-
Suddenly, out of nowhere, Prime Barcelona turn up. Similar coloured shirts, actually. It's the similar coloured shirts.
Oh my god! Do you remember that year that United changed their shirts at half time against Southampton? Do you remember that, the grey kit? Do you remember that?
I'd completely forgotten about that. Why
We
did
had
they
that
do that?
we had that grey kit, and apparently the players were saying that they just couldn't see one another, and so we changed it into a blue and white strip, and then still lost, I believe. So,
Still lost.
but yeah, no, this Palace is going to be tricky. But City Arsenal, lick your
It's a big
lips
one, man.
and call me
It's a big
Julie.
one. They'll have Declan Rice back. Not sure about Odegaard. We'll have to keep eyes on that. But yeah, that's a massive, massive game. And there's no reason to doubt City, really. At home, I don't think Arteta's won against City yet. Certainly not
Nah.
away. So, and
Are you
Haaland's
gonna
obviously still in the form of his life.
Are you gonna captain Haaland?
Mate, that is one of my big. That is a
It's
really big
huge, isn't
unknown
it?
for me this week. At the moment, he is my captain. But I mean, if he does score, you're not expecting many against Arsenal. They've got like the best defense in the league, right? So I don't know. You
He's
never
just
bet against Haaland, but you do wonder if there's other players that are more than capable of outscoring him this week. My problem is I haven't got Mo Salah. Mo Salah's the obvious captain choice this week at home to Bournemouth.
He was
Um,
so wide that game. He was so the last game. He was like on the edge. I know he's been playing wide. I know this.
Salah,
Yeah. But he was like on the edge of the touchline like, every single time. The sideline. It was just ridiculous. But
I think
I
to be
mean,
fair, I think he was getting pushed out there
true.
by Forest. Like they knew what they were doing. They would narrow. They were tight. Just couldn't get in there.
Mm. Oh, do you know what?
Bournemouth, they played slightly more expansive football. So, and Liverpool
True.
will they'll fancy this. I guess you've got to keep an eye on what happens tonight against AC Milan.
Yeah, right.
Um,
If
but
Haaland like really comes out and bangs like plays well tonight or tomorrow, Champions League, it's like I would even put him in there against Arsenal because you just see him just scoring like every game now. He's that
yeah,
sharp. But
that's what I
then
mean. I mean, at the moment, mate, I don't know who else I would captain. I've got.
Jamie
I
Vardy.
could. I could. Yeah, I could just bring a Vardy
You
just for
do
Everton.
Vardy. You do Vardy. I'll do Calvin Lewin. just like see what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. Haaland and Mo score hat tricks.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or do nothing, which is probably more
Yeah.
likely.
I guess the other games we're talking about that's interesting is Brighton versus Forest because I mean one thing for me, I'm looking at that going, is that another 0-0? If I'm honest
Yeah.
with you, and Forest just shut out Brighton and do a number like they did against Liverpool.
No, I mean I'm worried. I did target these games for Brighton coming up. I thought that Forest did potentially look like a team that they could score a few goals against, but now after last week, I don't know about that. But yeah, we'll see about Jean Pedro. Be a big
Yeah,
difference maker.
yeah. But yeah, Leicester Everton, mate. After we've been discussing that, I really want to watch that game now. I don't know
Yeah,
if
me too.
that's just a classic three clock kickoff on Saturday. But yeah, the Vardy versus Calvert Lewin. See who
Tasty.
gets in Tom's team. I like that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be. I mean, they're both scoring goals. I mean, Everton are conceding goals. Should we put it that way? And
Mm,
Jamie Vardy may be licking his lips for this one. So
yeah.
good one.
What are you thinking about doing with your team this week then, Will?
So, as I mentioned earlier, I've already made a change for Wissa. I wanted to try and get in with the price drop beforehand. I think he has already dropped in price. I just changed him for Calvin Lewin instantly because I wanted to just bring that guy in. He's looking good, and that's my only change. Annoying change, but yeah, that's done. I'm not going
Yeah.
to bring it
What's
anymore.
your who's in your bus team? What's your starting lineup at the
My
moment?
starting lineup is going to be. I think I'm probably going to go. Hang on, let me just. What have I put in there so far? I've got Raya. Obviously, still going to hold on to those. I think I'm going to hold on to the double Liverpool defence. I'm going to imagine has given them an absolute rollicking and being like, "You get a clean sheet this week, game over. Otherwise, you're out." Hopefully, Trent's not going to get hooked. But then I've also brought in Pau Torres for Lewis against Arsenal, and then I've got Same, Onana, Minter, Salah, Eze, Matoma, Haaland, and then João Pedro at the moment. But I think what I might do, and Calvin Lewin is my first sub, so I keep an eye on João Pedro. But what I may do is I might hook out one of the Brighton players, Minter. I think I'll hook out and put Calvin Lewin up front just for some spice. That's my thoughts. And the captain Salah.
Yeah, gotta be, mate. It's gotta be Captain May. Yeah, I'll quickly go through my team as well, actually, because I've got similar thoughts with regards to Brighton. So my current team is Raya in goal against Man City. I'm probably just gonna have to soak that up. Alexander-Arnold at home to Bournemouth. Porro at home to Brentford. Dean at home to Wolves. Jota at home to Bournemouth. Rodgers at home to Wolves. Smith Rowe at home to Newcastle. Palmer away to West Ham. Haaland at home to Arsenal. Solanke at home to Brentford, which I'm going to give him one more fixture. Question mark about Isak. At the moment, Isak's in the starting lineup. I imagine he's going to be fit enough to play unless they call it a concussion and hold him back another week or two. I could bring in Jamie Vardy against Everton at home to Everton. Sounds tasty. I might do that. I could see that happening. And then on the bench, my first sub is Minter. Like I say, at the moment, I could bring him in for Smith Rowe. I don't want to put Smith Rowe on the bench again. It hurt me last week.
Who's Fulham got? Sorry,
Newcastle. So not an easy game, but they're not exactly resolute in defence at the moment. Newcastle, but Nottingham Forest, like I say, they're just hard to break down. I don't know if I fancy Minter. Either way, I've got a benching headache here. Robinson for Fulham also on the bench, and then Bednarak on the bench. At home to Ipswich. Even Bednarak could give me a headache this week. Probably not. After watching Southampton last week.
I was just looking at my bench and I'm like, oh, who would I bring in? And I've got Greaves away, Southampton, and I'm like, I mean, that could be a 0-0 right there. Again, that could be just nothing. So,
I mean,
and I'm thinking,
honestly, I think Ipswich are on for a solid win there at the moment.
Maybe, but I mean, do I bring Greaves in for Liverpool Robertson? Or I'm like, no, I can't. Do I bring him in for Pau Torres? I don't know. Wolves, yeah, probably would.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna switch that.
But
anyway, benching headaches all round.
Yeah, headache. My headache is really with captain, whether or not I stick with Erling, or there's so many other potential captaincy options in this team. Like if you did bring Vardy against Everton, that'd be one. Solanke against Brentford, Jota against Bournemouth, Palmer away to West Ham. Probably don't fancy it. Trent at home to Bournemouth sounds quite appealing, I've got to say.
But yeah, tricky old week this week. Hopefully it's going to be better than last week, though. My goodness.
Can't be any worse, mate. Okay, well, it's that time again. It's Match of the Year.
Aye.
Okay, so this week we are doing... one more time. Not very well, guys. This week we are doing West Ham versus Chelsea. as that's on this week. That's one of our big games this week. We did the spinner again, the spinner of doom, and it turns out that Will is going to be West Ham and I will be Chelsea. Let's pick the teams. Who won last week? I won last week.
Oh, you won last week.
All right, we'll kick us off then, William.
I'm West Ham, so I've gone in goal. I've gone David James.
Decent, very nice. In goal for me, I'm having Carlo Cudicini. He's a personal favourite of mine. When he was at his best, he was great.
He was right. I've gone old school. I like to go old school, and I've thrown in Bobby Moore in defence.
Fuck me. Okay, good shout.
Yeah, right.
Still World Cup winner, fine.
One of the
I am not having a defender this week. I don't need one because I've got Claude Makaleli.
And you know he's one of my favourite players of all time. Like he is a defender. He is the best. He was the best player in the world, in my opinion, at that time in that role.
Also, the longest in the shower for any Soccer AM viewers. Probably can't use any of that. But while I'm here, John Terry once said it's like having a can of Stella between your legs.
It's quite magnificent. Yeah, that's what I hear. Okay, so interesting choice now. Being against Chelsea, I've gone Frank Lampard.
Yeah, I knew this was coming. And I didn't even want Frank. I didn't even want him. Because I've got Gianfranco Zola.
Ridiculous. What a magician. Magic. I've got some magic for you. Glad that it didn't come up in Bad Boys of Football, because now I can pick Paolo Di Canio.
Great. Love to see it. Next pick for me is Ian Robin, who is, I think he is actually my favourite Chelsea player of all time. I used to love watching him, man.
Really? Yeah, he was sensational, wasn't he? He made such a difference for that Chelsea team. Yeah, good picks so far. And again, glad I didn't pick him last week, because this week I can pick one of my all-time favourites, Jermaine Defoe.
Nice. Final pick for me is Didier Drogba. Always going to be in, right? One of the best Premier League strikers of all time. I used to hate him. Like, honestly, I used to be terrified of him. Every time Liverpool used to play against him, we had so many duels. Liverpool and Chelsea, the head-to-heads over the years. Oh, mate, he caused us so much trouble.
Honestly,
and he could cause you trouble this week, punk.
He was so good. Like, in a weird way, I feel like he was underrated, but he was rated. But like, I think he was that good. One of the Premier League's all-time best, in my opinion. Yeah. He was a big boy. Do you remember? Did we work? We worked with him once.
I did work with him. I did.
He was big. Do you remember? Like, big. Not quite as big as Makaleli, I'd imagine, but I'm sure he's big.
I always remember all the wardrobe girls going, "Oh, he's really good looking," and then he took his hat off, and they're like, "Maybe not."
Okay. Okay.
Dodgy haircut. It's a dodgy haircut, man. Never trust a man with a strange ponytail. He's shaved it all off now. He looks fucking great. I don't know why he didn't do that before.
He looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Right. Caveat.
No caveat.
There's a caveat.
There's not a caveat.
There's a caveat.
We're just not going to mention the caveat.
So, this week's caveat. It's not a massive one. Nothing too dramatic. No game on Mars. But this
we're
week,
bringing it back, reining it in a little bit.
Reining it in a little bit. This week, we just have a certain Ray Winston on the sidelines.
Big hammer. We just want to test Match of the AI, just to see, of just putting Ray Winston on the sidelines, a very subtle detail, see if it has any impact on the game whatsoever. Maybe it will,
have a look.
Maybe it won't. So just a reminder to everyone who hasn't heard Match of the AI before, what we do is we've picked our teams, we give them to ChatGPT, we say, ChatGPT, which team is better? Can you simulate a match and give me the result we want to see? That's basically it. So Will's done that now. Will is going to read out the first half. I'll read out the second half. Let's do this.
Okay. And here we go. So the atmosphere is electric as Chelsea face West Ham in one of the fiercest London derbies in recent memory. Okay. First half, kickoff. The match begins at a frantic pace of Chelsea trying to settle into possession. Zola is buzzing in midfield with Makelele snapping into challenges early, determined to assert control. But West Ham is pressing hard, and the physicality of Lampard and Di Canio is causing problems. The crowd is already at fever pitch. 4th minute, Chelsea's early strike. Chelsea doesn't take long to make their mark. Robin, with his lightning pace, picks up the ball on the right wing, darts inside and sends more spinning with a dazzling dribble. Robin unleashes a curling shot from the edge of the box that flies into the top corner past James.
Come on!
That's a goal. God, he curved that ball like a whisper into the net. What? Weird. Chelsea takes the lead.
Come on, Iron. Love that guy.
1-0 Chelsea. 12th minute. Whilst West Ham's response, West Ham is stunned, but it doesn't take long to recover. Lampard dictates the play from midfield, spreading the ball wide to Di Canio, who's in full flow. Di Canio spins around Makelele, drawing the Chelsea players in before chipping the pass to Defoe. Defoe fires a shot on target, but Cudicini makes a sharp save to deny him. Oh, close. 18th minute. Here it comes. 18th minute. Winston's shadow. On the sideline, Ray Winston is visibly seething. His menacing presence is affecting Chelsea. Drogba glances nervously over at him and produces a heavy touch. And Robin seems to shy away from the ball. Meanwhile, Zola tries to calm the team, keeping possession in midfield. Great.
Wait, so my players are visibly shaken by Winston's presence?
Of course, man. Like he's a big man, like big presence.
He's quite
you can
scary,
imagine.
I suppose.
Red
No one
face.
scares Didier Drogba though. As if Didier Drogba's going to be like some old hammer over there who's scaring me. Fuck's sake. ChatGPT, man.
23rd minute. West Ham equalise. It's Lampard who pulls West Ham back into the game after a scrappy battle in midfield. Lampard finds himself in space just outside the box. He takes one shot and rifles the powerful shot. It takes a slight deflection, sending Cudicini the wrong way. Goal.
Deflected goal. Do one.
Sneaky little snip. Okay, so he's hammered that home like a battering ram through the Chelsea defence. Lampard equalises for West Ham, score 1-1. 30th minute, Chelsea fights back. Chelsea tries to regroup and Zola leads the charge with his diminutive Italian dribbles. I can't even read that. So he past two defenders and sends a clear through ball to Drogba, who powers his way into the box. Drogba shoots low, but David James pulls off an incredible reflex save, keeping the scores level. 38th minute. Winston's gaze. As the first half nears an end, Winston's dark presence weighs heavy on the Chelsea players. Makelele looks distracted and misplaces a pass that quickly picked up by Di Canio. Di Canio attempts an audacious lob from distance, but Cudicini tips it just over the bar. And that, my friends, is half-time.
Good save, Carlo. Good save. So 1-1 after half-time.
Dude, just so you know, there's multiple mistakes here, but I think you just got to try and capture them. Like, okay. Campbell was back in the side somehow.
Really?
Yeah, it's
all
just
coming back. It's like the ghosts of Christmas past.
Yeah, it's just try and they're all highlighted bold though, so you can kind of like you can kind of Mabbott's back in there. Basically, Mabbott is more, and that seems to be the only one that seems to be they seem to be getting wrong. Just so you know.
Okay, right. The second half kicks off with Chelsea pushing forward. Robin, once again, bursts down the wing, cutting inside, playing a perfect cross to Drogba. The Ivorian leaps high, powering a header toward goal, but James somehow claws it away. Chelsea fans groan in frustration. West Ham grows in confidence. Lampard, finding the space in midfield, sprays a pass wide to Defoe. The striker dances past Bobby Moore. The striker dances past Bobby Moore and curls a shot towards the far post, but Cudicini gets a fingertip to it, turning it round the post. The pressure is mounting. It happens again. Robin, sensing Winston's piercing eyes on him, stumbles awkwardly as he tries to take on Moore. West Ham quickly takes advantage with Lampard surging forward, releasing Di Canio on the break. The Italian genius attempts a spectacular overhead kick, but it flies just over the bar. The West Ham fans raptures, sensing blood. With tension mounting, Zola produces a moment of magic. He dribbles past two defenders, floats an inch-perfect cross into the box. Drogba, timing his run perfectly, powers a header into the bottom corner past the outstretched arms of David James. 2-1. Goal. He launched that like a missile into the heart of West Ham. But the game is far from over.
Come on.
Ray Winstone, now pacing the touchline, appears to fire up West Ham. Lampard, unflinching, picks up the ball in midfield, releases Defoe with a pinpoint cross. Defoe darts past Makelele and curves the ball round Cudicini, burying it in the back of the net. That is 2-2.
That's my boy.
He curled that like a masterpiece, painted with fire. Makes no sense. Okay. Suddenly, the tempo rises. Both teams throw caution into the wind, and Robin races down the wing yet again, causing havoc for the West Ham defence. His shot is blocked, but Zola picks up the rebound and dinks a delightful chip over the defenders. Drogba latches onto it and fires a low shot, but James produces a stunning save to deny him once again. In the dying minutes, West Ham wins a corner. Di Canio steps up to take it, whipping in a devilish cross. The ball pinballs around the box, falling to Lampard, who strikes it with venom from close range. Cudicini makes a world-class save, somehow keeping it out, but the ball falls to Di Canio, who smashes it into the net. It's 3-2.
Oh, this is going to be good.
He lit up the night sky with that strike. There.
Sure.
3-2. Chelsea, desperate for an equaliser, throws everyone forward in the last moments. Robin races into the box and cuts the ball back to Zola. The Italian genius takes a touch, curls the shot towards the far corner, but James pulls off. A miraculous save, full stretch. The ball bounces out to Drogba, but Moore throws himself in front of the shot, blocking it heroically, and that is full time.
That's a hero right there.
Damn, man.
That is a hero.
Good game. Good game.
Decent game. I don't know if that'll be the outcome this weekend, but my goodness. Didier Drogba is a menace. Ray Winston is a menace.
Ray Winstone just cruising around. You can picture him, can't you, with his shades on, just dark, just giving like piercing gazes at players. Yeah. Obviously, he did enough to put Chelsea off by the looks of things. It was a shame. Just his utter presence.
Not bad.
Good victory.
Not bad.
Good victory. Good game.
What is the score now? Is that
3-2? So that is 4-3 to you overall now.
Oof.
Tasty.
Oof.
Tasty.
A good one next week.
Yeah. So everyone, that brings us to the end of the show. What a show it's been. Thank you very much for watching or listening, wherever you are. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll be back next week. Will, anything to say to the lovely fans?
Thank you so much for listening, and make sure you follow us on social media and get in touch. We love hearing from you. So yeah, all the different social medias, Tom and Will FPL.
Nice. We'll be back next week to talk game week 5. In the meantime, good luck everyone. Enjoy yourself. That's a wrap. Hit the music. Still dancing. How long have I got to dance for? I always wear my Donald Duck costume.